She pulled the trigger from 3 feet away, and suddenly the entire stadium gasped. That split second, that reflex swing, that ball flying at point-blank range, that's the moment everyone at the Australian Open is still talking about. Not a championship point, not a controversial call, a routine net exchange that turned into one of the most uncomfortable scenes of the tournament. And here's why this matters way more than just one bad bounce in doubles. Because this wasn't some reckless act. This wasn't a feud boiling over. This was elite tennis moving so fast that even professionals couldn't react in time. But when Jelena Ostapenko's backhand smashed straight into Laura Siegemund's face, the conversation instantly changed from tactics to tension. Let's slow this down, because the context makes it even more intense. Third round of the Australian Open women's doubles. Big stage. Big expectations. Jelena Ostapenko and Hsieh Su, one of the most unpredictable but dangerous pairings in the draw, were in total control. They had already taken the first set 6-3. In the second, they were cruising at 5-1. Across the net stood Laura Siegemund and Sofia Kenin. Experience, gritty, the kind of team that fights for every last point even when the scoreboard looks ugly. Score, 30-15 in that game. A point that, on paper, means almost nothing. But tennis doesn't care about on paper. A quick exchange brings Ostapenko charging forward. Now, if you watched Ostapenko play, you know one thing: she does not tap the ball. There's no soft hands mode. Everything is hit with conviction, sometimes with chaos, always with full commitment. She rips a two-handed backhand towards Siegemund at the net. Siegemund, 37 years old, still one of the smartest doubles players on tour, somehow twists her body and Reflex blocks it back. Honestly, that alone was impressive. Most players freeze. She didn't, but that return floated just high enough. Ostapenko reloads instantly. Second backhand. Harder. Flatter. No time to react. The ball rockets forward and hits Siegemund directly in the face. You could hear the impact. Not a dramatic thud. Not a cartoon sound. Just that sharp, hollow pop that makes every tennis fan's stomach drop. Siegemund goes down immediately. And for a moment, Rod Laver Arena goes silent in that way only tennis stadiums can. 20,000 people holding their breath at the exact same time. Kenin rushes over first. Pure instinct. Forget the point. Forget the match. That's your partner on the ground. Ostapenko's reaction is immediate too. Hands up. Apology written all over her face. Because here's the thing people forget in these moments. Players aren't aiming for heads. They're aiming for open space. At that distance, the human body just happens to be in the way. Siegemund stays down for a few seconds that feel much longer. You start thinking about all the what-ifs. Eyes, nose, concussion. Doubles courts are small. Reaction time is brutal. Then she slowly gets up, and the crowd exhales all at once. She nods. She's okay. Shaken, yes. Hurt, definitely. But okay enough to continue. That alone earned her massive respect. Because taking a pro-level backhand to the face and choosing to keep playing is not something you just shrug off. Play resumes. And here's where it gets psychologically fascinating. Because after something like that, the match is no longer just about forehands and volleys. Now it's about trust, nerves, and that tiny voice in your head saying, "Don't get hit again." Siegemund keeps playing, but you can see the energy shift. Not fear exactly, but awareness. Every net exchange now carries a memory from 5 minutes earlier. Ostapenko and Hsieh close it out 6-3, 6-2. On the scoreboard, it looks routine. Comfortable win. Business as usual. But anyone who watched knows this match had a moment that will live longer than the result. Now let's talk about the bigger picture, because this isn't just a viral clip situation. Ostapenko and Hsieh came into this tournament with something to prove. Last year, they made deep runs. They reached big finals. They built chemistry that mixes Hsieh's magic trick finesse with Ostapenko's control chaos power. When that combo clicks, it's terrifying for opponents. Ostapenko recently said she and Hsieh just match well and have fun together. And you can see that. Hsieh plays like she's solving a puzzle. Ostapenko plays like she's breaking a door down. Somehow it works. But doubles at the top level is played at insane speed. Points are shorter, angles are sharper, and the net player is often just a few steps from serious danger. This is the unspoken risk of modern aggressive doubles. You stand close to the fire, sometimes you get burned. Was the shot intentional? Absolutely not. Was it avoidable? Maybe, maybe not. At that distance, with that reaction window, you're operating on instinct, not morality. And this is where tennis fans split into two camps. One side says, it's part of the game. You can't pull back mid-swing. And they're not wrong. Hesitation at the net loses points. The other side says, there has to be more control. Also fair, because players are human targets at that range. The truth sits somewhere uncomfortable in the middle. What made this moment powerful wasn't just a hit. It was the sportsmanship after. Ostapenko didn't celebrate, didn't pretend it was nothing. She owned the moment immediately. Siegemund didn't create drama, didn't demand theatrics. She checked herself, gathered composure, and carried on. That mutual professionalism is why this didn't explode into controversy, but into conversation. And don't overlook the irony here. Siegemund is one of the craftiest doubles minds on tour. She wins with positioning, anticipation, angles, not power. Meanwhile, Ostapenko is one of the purest power hitters in women's tennis. When those two styles collide at the net, physics doesn't negotiate. Now, here's where the story gets even more interesting for the tournament. Ostapenko and Hsieh are now through to the quarterfinals. Confidence high, chemistry flowing. But every opponent from here on has now seen that clip. And subconsciously, that changes net dynamics. Players might hang half a step deeper. They might hesitate a fraction longer. And at this level, fractions decide matches. Psychological ripples from one moment can travel far. Also, let's give Laura Siegemund her flowers. 37 years old, still battling at slam level, taking a direct hit, and choosing resilience over drama. That's veteran toughness. That's why double specialists last so long. They're built differently upstairs. And Sofia Kenin's reaction? That's partnership. Immediate concern, zero hesitation. Doubles chemistry isn't just about tactics. It's about trust in chaotic moments. This is why people who say doubles is less intense don't understand doubles at all. It's faster at the net, more reflex-based, and sometimes physically scarier than singles. Moments like this remind us tennis isn't played in slow motion. We watch replays at half speed. Players live it in real time. One reflex, one swing, one ball, and suddenly an entire arena feels it. But here's the twist in all this. This incident might actually make Ostapenko and Hsieh more dangerous. Why? Because intense moments can bond teams. Shared adrenaline, shared awkwardness, shared relief it didn't end worse. That can sharpen focus instead of breaking rhythm. They were already contenders. Now they've been through a moment together that demands emotional composure too. That matters in tight quarterfinals and semifinals. Still, there's a human side we can't ignore. Getting hit like that lingers. Even if Siegemund felt fine later, there's soreness, maybe swelling, definitely a memory. Tennis players are tough, but they're not robots. And it raises a quiet question the sport rarely discusses. As doubles gets faster and more aggressive, do players need more protective awareness of the net? Or is this just the cost of playing that close to the action? There's no easy answer. What we do know is this moment will be replayed all tournament. Not because people love seeing someone get hurt, but because it captures how thin the line is between routine and shocking in professional tennis. One rally, one angle, one reflex too quick to undo. So now I want to hear from you. Was this simply an unavoidable part of high-speed doubles? Or should players show more restraint in those point-blank net exchanges? Drop your take in the comments, because this is one of those tennis debates where there isn't a clean right answer, only perspective. And if this Australian Open has already given us moments like this before the business and the draw, just imagine what's still coming. Tennis never runs out of drama. Sometimes, it just arrives faster than anyone can react.